We know that if a person drinks salt water, they get dehydrated quickly. Their kidneys struggle to filter out the excess salt, and eventually, it can lead to serious health issues. But marine mammals, like whales and dolphins, drink water from the same salty environment they live in, and they do just fine. In fact, they thrive. So today, we're going to explore how marine mammals are able to drink salt water, what special adaptations they have, and most importantly, why can't we do the same? First, let's break down what happens when humans drink salt water. Our kidneys are designed to filter our blood and remove excess waste, including salts. However, our bodies can only handle so much salt. When you drink seawater, which is about 3 times saltier than human blood, the kidneys have to work overtime to get rid of the excess salt. The problem is that to excrete the salt, our bodies need more water than is provided by the salt water itself. Since the kidneys can't keep up, the body starts to pull water from cells and tissues to balance the salt levels, leading to severe dehydration. This process is counterproductive. Drinking salt water makes you thirstier, and too much of it can actually be fatal. We also lose water through sweat, breathing, and other normal functions, making it impossible to stay hydrated with salt water. So, humans are simply not equipped to handle the high salt content in seawater. But what about marine mammals? How are they so well adapted to drink salt water, or live in such salty environments without getting dehydrated like us? The answer lies in several fascinating physiological adaptations that they've developed over millions of years. The first thing we need to talk about is their specialized kidneys. Marine mammals, such as whales, dolphins, seals, and sea lions, have what we call reniculated kidneys. Instead of a single large filtering unit like we have, their kidneys are made up of hundreds or even thousands of small units called lobules. This structure allows them to filter out salt much more efficiently. Each of these lobules acts like a mini kidney within the kidney, making the process of removing excess salt from the bloodstream far more effective. These kidneys produce highly concentrated urine, which means the salt is excreted, and the body can retain more of the water it needs to stay hydrated. It's an incredibly efficient system. But here's something you might not know. Marine mammals don't rely solely on drinking seawater for hydration. In fact, a big part of their water intake comes from the food they eat. Whales, dolphins, and seals consume prey like fish, squid, and krill, which are naturally high in water content. Just like how humans can stay hydrated by eating foods with high water content, these marine mammals get a significant portion of their water from their food. In addition to this, marine mammals also produce water internally through a process called metabolic water production. When they break down food, particularly carbohydrates and fats, water is one of the byproducts. This means that they can produce water internally, which further reduces their need to drink salt water directly. So, even though some species of marine mammals have been observed drinking seawater on occasion, they're not relying on it as their primary source of hydration. Their food provides much of the water they need, and the metabolic processes in their bodies give them an extra boost. Now, let's take a closer look at how their kidneys manage this salt and water balance. In all mammals, including humans, salt and water are managed in the kidneys through a 2-step process. First, blood passes through a filtration system in a part of the kidney called the glomerulus. Water and small molecules like salts are filtered out, while larger molecules like proteins and blood cells stay in the bloodstream. From here, the filtered liquid moves into a structure called the loop of Henle, a long tube where water is reabsorbed back into the body. This process helps to concentrate the urine and remove excess salts. In marine mammals, the loops of Henle are much longer than in terrestrial mammals, which means they can reclaim even more water before excreting waste. This longer loop allows marine mammals to produce very salty urine while conserving as much water as possible. In fact, their urine can contain up to 2.5 times more salt than seawater itself, and up to 7 or 8 times more salt than their own blood. That's how efficient their kidneys are. Another important factor in salt and water management for marine mammals is their diet. Species like whales and dolphins that primarily eat fish have an advantage because fish have a salt content that's very similar to their own blood. This means they're not ingesting excess salt when they eat, which helps them avoid the problem of needing to get rid of too much salt. On the other hand, marine mammals that feed on invertebrates like crustaceans or mollusks, which have a higher salt content, face a bigger challenge. These animals have to work harder to get rid of the extra salt, which is why species like seals and sea lions have been observed drinking seawater more frequently than fish-eating species like dolphins or orcas. In some cases, marine mammals have developed behavioral adaptations to help manage their water needs. For example, manatees and some species of seals will actively seek out freshwater sources when they're available. In Florida, it's common for people to leave hoses running into the water so that manatees can drink fresh water when they come across it. Similarly, seals have been known to eat snow as a source of fresh water when they're in polar regions. These behavioral adaptations help them avoid the need to drink seawater, further reducing the strain on their kidneys. So, why can marine mammals handle saltwater while we can't? The answer lies not just in their physiology, but also in their genetics. Over millions of years of evolution, these animals have developed genes that allow their kidneys to handle high salt levels, minimize water loss, and make the most out of their food. Humans, on the other hand, evolved in environments where fresh water was readily available, so we never developed the ability to process large amounts of salt. Our bodies are simply not equipped to handle seawater without suffering the consequences of dehydration and salt overload. To wrap it all up, marine mammals like whales, dolphins, and seals are able to survive in the ocean's salty waters thanks to a combination of physiological, behavioral, and genetic adaptations. Their specialized kidneys, water-rich diets, and ability to produce metabolic water give them the tools they need to live in an environment where fresh water is scarce. As for us humans, well, we're better off sticking to fresh water. Our bodies just aren't built to handle seawater like these incredible creatures. So next time you're by the ocean, take a moment to appreciate the amazing adaptations that allow marine mammals to thrive in a world we can only visit. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into marine biology, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more fascinating animal facts. And as always, feel free to leave any questions or comments below. Until next time, stay curious.